What's going on, people? And we are live. Welcome to CashSports Podcast. I am glad to be back here with y'all because once again, right, we are back here today. It is Friday, and what? College football is tomorrow. That's right. I know y'all waiting for it. I know y'all here for it, right? And so I'm here with y'all guys today to talk about what just occurred on Thursday Night Football, right? So let's get into it. I don't even want to waste time because I don't even got that much time left, and I wanted to be on here. I want to be quick about it to be able to get on the stream with you guys too. So first things first, before we get into it, please like and subscribe to CashSports Podcast. I would graciously appreciate it because it will help out the podcast. And before I get into that, I want thank you, Void, for giving that thumbs up, man. You see, I'm trying to get into it, man. I'm trying, bro. I got to get it in whenever I can, man. It's streaming, it ain't easy when you got a full schedule, but it is what it is, right? So let's get into it. So yesterday, on Thursday Night Football, the Chiefs played the Chargers for the first time. That was the first AFC West matchup between the two, between Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, right? So it was a very interesting game. The Chargers were leading for most of the game, but Patrick Mahomes, they kept the composure. They were able to win the game, but it came down to a very crucial decision in the last seconds of the game, or in the last end of the game, or in the fourth quarter. Justin Herbert threw an interception, threw a 99-yard interception against the Chiefs, and that resulted in the Chiefs being up. By the way, the Chargers were in their red zone. And bad news for the Chargers too, or it may or may not be bad news, but we know for sure that Justin Herbert is undergoing x-rays for his ribs because he sustained a chest injury within the game. So not great news for the Chargers, I'll tell you that now. Because one, they were my pick to go to the Super Bowl. I think the Chargers look relatively well. I think they look really good in that game, despite getting the loss. Justin Herbert he has a laser for an arm, man, a freaking gunslinger. And then he was hitting Mike Williams. Mike Williams was dogging that corner, man. He was really doing whatever he wanted. And so, and not to mention, we gotta talk about Everett too, man. He was a really good and effective tight end. So if we're just looking at the stats, right, we're just checking out, what happened or what occurred in that game. Patrick Mahomes threw for 235 yards and two touchdowns with 0 interceptions, even though Patrick Mahomes could have had a pick in this game, and that could have substantially changed the outcome of this game. Justin Herbert, for the most part, he was playing well. He completed 33 passes on 48 attempts with 334 yards and 3 touchdowns with just 1 interception. So just imagine that 1 interception was that 4th touchdown. This game, his stats would have looked ridiculous. But nonetheless, he had a great game, but at the end of the day, he didn't come out with the win. You can even look at the team stats. Chargers had 21 first downs compared to the Chiefs 15. That one turnover, even though both teams really didn't turn the ball over, that one turnover is what's crucial, man. That's what it is, man. It's football. You gotta stay on your toes, man. The running game wasn't really getting off like that. But the Chiefs were able to get 74 yards on the ground with Edwards-Helaire. And then when I brought up Mike Williams caught 8 passes for 113 yards and 1 touchdown. So this was a very competitive game, man. I tell you, it was a good matchup. It definitely was a good matchup. I said the Chargers would win this game, and then somebody had commented under my video and said the Chiefs win by 3. And so I went back and I was like, yeah, you called it, man. You called it. You see, so. I'm not scared to say when I'm wrong or to say, I messed up. But right now, man, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs is making me look crazy right now because I just say they were making the playoffs. But, hey, man, I'm wrong as hell right now. Not to say that I'm not against the Chiefs or Patrick Mahomes, but, hey, you can't bet against that man, right? So I put out the betting odds earlier in the week so that you guys can tune in. I want you guys to realize that I do put out betting odds on Monday, regardless, right? If how many times I make videos within a week. But when I do that, that's not going nowhere. I'm going to make sure I get that scheduled. I get that out on Monday, at least on Monday. by the latest. I'm not going to be able to, I'm not going to go Monday without making a video. I'm not going to go a new week without making at least one video, because from that point on, my schedule could be somewhat unpredictable. And then just to give you guys some insights, I do music videos and stuff like that. So my schedule is really how can I say, unorthodox. So back to the sports, man. Let's get back into it. So we know that Justin Herbert, he got injured, right? He's sustaining a chest injury. So I'm gonna read an article real quick just to kind of see what's going on with Justin Herbert's situation. So Los Angeles Chargers Justin Herbert suffers rib injury in loss against the Kansas City Chiefs, undergoes x-rays. 20 minutes after losing to the Kansas City Chiefs, Los Angeles Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert exited the locker room with medical staff and walked with a look of discomfort on his face to the x-ray room. With 5 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in Thursday Night Football, 27-24 loss, Justin Herbert took a hit from Chiefs defensive end Mike Dana that left him lying on the floor for an extended period amount of time. He missed one play before returning, then immediately crushed between Chiefs pass rusher Frank Clark and George I don't know how to say his last name, but remained in the game. Herbert did not speak to the reporters afterward, and the Chargers spokesman saying that he would not be available and citing rib injury. Chargers and Brandon Staley initially downplayed any potential injury, saying that it was a tough NFL game and he took some big hits. X. What's going on here? I didn't mean to play that ad. Freaking ads, man. So the Chiefs sacked Herbert twice and recorded 7 quarterback hits. The Chargers offensive line also suffered multiple injuries Thursday night. Center Corey Lindsey did not return to the game after halftime because of a knee injury, and right tackle Trey Pipkins was sidelined in the second half because of an ankle injury. I think Corey has a knee issue. I just talked to him. He seemed okay, but we'll know tomorrow, Stanley said. Lindsey, a ninth year player and an all-pro. Stanley said that he did not know the severity of Pipkins' injury. Backup Will Clamp took over in Lindsey's absence, and Storm Newman, who lost the starting job of Pipkins in training camp, was inserted at right tackle with the loss. The Chargers fall to 1-1 in the AFC West. They will face the Jacksonville Jaguars in Week 3 at SoFi Stadium. Information from the Associated Press was used in this report. Right, so man. So it's not, it's still up in the air. We don't know what's going down with Justin Herbert's situation, right? So we know that he sustained a lot of injuries within that game, but we don't particularly know what's going on. He got hurt. He tried to get back into the game, try to make things happen, but it just wasn't enough. And then to make matters worse, he even lost his offensive line, man. He even lost some guys on the line, man. We already know, how that situation looks or how that pans out. When you don't have your line, it's going to be extremely difficult to do anything successful. But we have to at least acknowledge or look at the situation where, when your line is messed up, you're going to have to figure some things out, man. So I don't really know what to say, from that point on. But we're going to have to see what really goes down. And then, so, let's not waste too much time. Let's go to this. I want to talk about Week 2 games and the games, right? That I think is going to be the most exciting to look out for, right? Let me see. Make the expert picks. So the Athletic NFL's experts make their predictions, right? So let's finish it off with this, and then, we're going to head up out of here. Let me see if I can add that. Boom. Y'all see that? Let me switch that. All right, so NFL Week 2 experts predictions and odds for Eagles versus Vikings, Bears, and Packers, and more. So the Week 2 is here, and how you're feeling depends on how your team performed in Week 1. If you're a fan of the Rams, Broncos, Cowboys, Bengals, or Broncos right now, you can't be feeling too hot about Week 1 performance. If you're the Chiefs, Giants, Bills, Vikings fan, things are looking up into Week 2. But as we know, in the NFL, every team is only one major injury away from dreading for the rest of the season. Week 2 starts strong with the Chiefs hosting the Chargers at Arrowhead, which we know won the game. It is Thursday Night Football, game streamed on Amazon Prime, and Al Michaels and Kirk Herbstreit on the call. So here's how week 1 played out for the betting mark. So favorites were 10, 5, and 1 straight up. Against the spread, favorites went 8 and 8, and road teams were 9, 6, and 1. And unders were 11 and 5, 3 and 0 on prime time games. Right. So look at that writer, man. Larry Holder went 10 and 5 that week, man. All right, so I'm trying to let me see. Let me find a good one. All right, so let's go with this, man. Miami Dolphins and Baltimore Ravens. I know I said the spreads earlier, but I always repeat them. The Ravens being favored on minus 3.5 with a total of 44.5 and the money line of minus 185, right? So the Dolphins and Ravens will square off Sunday. Each took down an AFC East opponent in week 1 en route to a 1-0 record to start its respective seasons, while the Dolphins revamped this offseason. The Ravens are about a field goal favorite for week 2 showdown in Baltimore. So let's keep it honest, man. This is like a real test for Tua. He's playing against a real team going into week 2. I mean, for what it was, the Patriots are still trying to figure out a lot of things on their end. But I see this game being very competitive. It's an AFC matchup, so we could potentially see these teams in the playoffs. But at the end of the day, man, I see Lamar going out. I see him going hungry, and I see Ravens taking this game. So another interesting game, I would say, would be interesting. Definitely not that one. I'm not picking that. Let me see. Oh, yes. So Tampa Bay Buccaneers and New Orleans Saints. So the good news for Tampa Bay is that Tom Brady is back, and they received a dominant showing from his defense in week 1. The bad news is the offense didn't look great, and it was a little out of sync in finishing drives. They are still a field goal favorite on the road at New Orleans. Kickoff is set at 1 p.m. on Sunday from New Orleans. Despite Tampa Bay's overall success over the past years, it has lost 4 out of its 5 meetings against the Saints, with only win coming from 2020 divisional playoffs. The Buccaneers have lost 6 straight regular season games to the New Orleans Saints. Right, so we already know what type of problems the Saints be giving Tom Brady, and then Tom Brady's favorite and the Bucs are favored to win this game with a minus 2.5 on the spread, a total of 44, and a money line of minus 145. So honestly, man, I mean, it's hard to really say, but I'm gonna go with the Bucs on this one. Just seeing what we've saw in that defensive showing for the Bucs, the defense did look good, and I can see Jameis Winston making some mistakes, even despite him getting better. So I don't see the streak of Tom Brady continuously losing to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers as an ongoing thing, especially if this is going to be more than likely his last season in the league. Then that's something we got to talk about. But until then, I still got Bucs. And then another game that I think would definitely be another game of the week is, let me see. You know what, man? I'm not going to sleep on Arizona Cardinals and the Las Vegas Raiders, with the Raiders being the favorites with minus 5.5 on the spread and a total of 51.5 and a money line of minus 250, right? So with that being said, both these teams lost in the first week. Derek Carr lost against the Los Angeles. Derek Carr and the Raiders lost against the Los Angeles Chargers, and Arizona Cardinals lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. So both of these teams lost the AFC West matchups, with the Raiders only being the only team from the AFC West, and the Arizona Cardinals obviously being from AFC North. NFC North. So Sunday's showdown between NFC West. So Sunday's showdown between Las Vegas and Arizona will be a battle between two teams looking for their first win of the season. The Raiders have slightly more inspiring opening week performance and will have a home field advantage. The Las Vegas Raiders is favored by more than a field goal. Ooh, by 5 points though. That's pretty high though. I'm not gonna lie to you. But with this team, Kyler Murray, the coach, Cliff Kingsbury, the GM, everybody got paid on the Cardinals, and we already know with Kyler Murray's contract situation. So, we're going to be looking at the Cardinals a little bit more heavily this year, with all the BS that was happening this year, with all the excuses, all the contract signing, all that stuff. And we do know that the Cardinals are the team that's going to be on Hard Knocks as the season progresses, right? So we're going to have a little insight as to what's going on with the Cardinals. And then with the Raiders, man, I just think they're a little bit better. They're a little bit of a better team. They have the receivers right now. They have the receiving core. I think their defense can provide some pressure on the front, but that's still tough to even go against, because you're still going against Kyler Murray, who has some wheels on his feet. Looks like a freaking Tasmanian devil when he's running on the field, right? So it's so hard to even tackle this dude. But man, I could definitely see them being this competitive game. Can it be within 5? I could definitely see it being within 5. But I got the Raiders win this game, probably 27-20, right? So, man, this concludes another episode, Cash Sports, man. I'm so glad you guys tuned in. Hey, please like the video. That would really help out my podcast, man. Every day, I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to do this thing every single day. If I'm not streaming every day, I'm 100% dropping short content on the channel, right? So, just, look out for those. Hit that notification button whenever you want to see me see when I upload videos. And secondly, I know y'all see that Cash App at the bottom, man. It is optional, but at the end of the day, it just goes into the platform, and I'm only looking to get this better. Just be elevate this, because there's a lot of things I can work on here, but at the end of the day, it's step by step, man. It's just work. It's always about getting better. Let's see check out my comments to see if there's anything that needs to be addressed. No. All right, man. So once again, I graciously appreciate everybody that tuned in into the Cash Sports podcast live. This was we talked about the game that occurred between the Chiefs and the Chargers, and we talked a little bit about week 2, and then we were just having some fun a little bit, but nothing too crazy, right? I was only on here for like about 17 minutes. It was probably the shortest I've ever been on my channel, right? So lastly, again, I thank everybody for tuning in into the stream. This is Cash Sports. Have a good time.